Hello and welcome back to the Irresponsible Comic Book Podcast. My name is Evan Bergstrom. I'm joined by my compadres here, Dylan and William. And honestly, the best time to we realized we haven't really told you much about ourselves, and we thought the best time to tell you is the third episode of a podcast. Definitely not the second or the first. We don't want to move too fast. So we're waiting for this episode to kind of tell you a little bit about ourselves.
Exactly.
I'll start. I got stuck at work today for a couple extra hours. I work at Panera Bread, and I also deliver at a pizza place locally. That if I tell you the name, you'll be able to find where I live, and I don't want you to do that. So I'm going to skip out on that. But I kind of do that. I have a lizard business that I run where I breed. This is why this is in the background still. I haven't moved it, but I breed leopard geckos. This is my first year breeding, and I have some very, very fancy leopard geckos, and they're worth like a lot of money. But that's why I'm not telling you where I live, because I don't want you to come to my house and steal them. So, with that being said,
or also start your own lizard army.
Or yeah, I it's really it's my last stand against the big three, if you will.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The big three, as Sam would say. We are here talking today about the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 2 recap, and then predictions for episode 3. So I just had to slide that one in there. Which one of you wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'll keep mine short and simple, if you don't mind.
Nice.
I am William. I'm also known as to my friends here as Nightwolf.
Nightwolf.
You know, I am from New Jersey. I'm 30 years old, per se. You know, hey, older wiser. I work part-time in a warehouse in a close town where I live right now. Nice. It's a good 10-minute, 15-minute drive. But yeah, it's part-time, but eventually I'll find something better that will give me a potential, maybe full-time job, or who knows, I'll just, stay at home all day and live my life.
There you go. Keeping it simple.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Dylan. I'm actually that guy's boss. Or that,
oh my
however
gosh.
It works.
Yeah, that was a guy.
Meme.
At Panera Bread. But other than that, I am just a tabletop and RPG enthusiast. Into sports, into cars, into comic books.
All the good stuff.
Geek culture in general.
You're typical. Yeah, typical nerdy stuff.
Nerd.
As you can see, I'm wearing a hockey jersey from when I played hockey in high school. So,
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, did you just leak where you went to high school?
I didn't.
Oh my god, no, you didn't actually. You can't tell.
Is it a high school jersey?
It's a high school hockey jersey. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You'll
It's
never know.
Puma?
Is it? I don't know.
It's a Puma.
Because my high school is the Panthers, pretty much.
It's not a Puma.
Panther.
But this is based off of a Panther, because it was based off of the Florida Panthers. But it's not the Florida Panthers. It's just a big cat. I'm not going to say what kind of actual cat it's supposed to be, but it's a big cat.
Anyways, I think I want to mention something that's totally off topic, has nothing to do with the podcast, but isn't it weird how some lower level teams will just straight up steal another school's logo? We literally stole a college logo and just made it our high school's logo at one point. I was like, what the hell? Anyways, so today we are talking about the second episode. We're going to do a little recap here of what happened in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then we're going to make some big, bold predictions, as we always do, very irresponsibly, for episode 3 and beyond, since we have a 6-episode series. We're
4 more to go. Actually, no, 4 more to go.
4 more to go. We're isn't it crazy?
Well, then we got Loki after that too.
We do pretty soon right after. But either way, it's kind of crazy to think that the series is almost halfway over. This next episode puts us over the hill halfway. That's kind of weird to me. But anyways, for a recap for episode 2, obviously, spoiler warning for those of you who haven't seen the episode yet. What are you doing? Leave now. But episode 2, we kind of start out.
Don't leave. Just put us on pause. Watch the episode. Come back.
That's actually a better idea. I'm sorry. You're right. My bad. Put us on pause.
Already kicking our fans already. What the hell is wrong with you, bro?
Get out. Just kidding. My microphone's glitching out here. There we go.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway, so episode 2, what do we see happen? We start off in a locker room, random locker room in the middle of probably Iowa in America, and we see John
Actually,
Walker.
It's Georgia.
Oh, it's
Georgia,
Georgia? Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't even pay. Did it say
You don't
Georgia?
watch the news? Yeah.
Did it say Georgia? Awkward.
No, it
Anyways,
didn't say, but
Oh,
it's
that's
John
where he's
Walker's
from.
hometown.
Okay,
in
that
Georgia.
makes sense.
Yep.
He just
Yep.
seems like a Midwest kind of boy, you know, like maybe
Like
like
it eventually
Kansas.
says in the show, like on the bottom, like
Oh,
there's like
okay.
a little scroll at the bottom where
Okay.
it's like, whoa, whatever view, Crest Mountain, or like
Crestview.
I think it was Grove something. Grove.
something Grove,
Yeah.
Georgia High
Okay.
School.
Makes sense.
So
Okay, interesting. Well, anyways, we're in a locker room from his old high school. He like peels off like somebody else's name on his like,
old
old
locker.
locker. So he
Yeah.
sees he like engraved his initials and his number, probably presumably when he played football, into
Yep.
the locker.
because he was the captain
Because
of the football team.
and
Yeah.
so he is like reliving his little past there, and you get to see Battlestar walk right in, which I successfully predicted would
Yep.
be in the series, and maybe we'll get to it, the draft review. But
Mr. Lamar, was it Lamar Hoskins?
Lamar
or was it
Hoskins.
Mr.
Hoskins.
Yep.
Yep, Lamar
Yep.
Hoskins, and they have a little nice conversation about what a big role it is for John Walker to step into as Captain America, as the new Captain America, and very very touching, and kind of makes you want to like the guy a little bit, and
Yeah,
so
have a
they're
little
trying to
heart for
make
him.
him they're trying to
Yeah.
make him a
No.
more likable character a little bit, you'd
Yeah.
think, right?
Yeah, yeah.
At least
no.
there, and then we fast forward a little bit. We see Sam and Bucky fight quite a bit. They're not big fans. Bucky's very upset that Sam gave away the shield, and then Sam brings up the big three. They hop on a plane together to go track down the Flag Smashers because they have intel from. Is it from Red Wing or?
Yeah, Red Wing got it.
Red Wing
Yeah.
found the intel after
Yeah.
scoping them out in Europe, and then they fly over there to take on the Flag Smashers, and then they are followed through Red Wing being hacked by John Walker and Hoskins, and they come to save the day and also take out the Flag
Yep.
Smashers. They end up getting away, beating the heroes. They go find refuge somewhere, and we cut back to America, and there's some very intense scenes, really, with Isaiah. What's his last name? Hartfield?
Isaiah.
The first black Captain America from the comic
Bradley.
book.
first one.
Isaiah Bradley.
Isaiah Bradley.
Bradley. Yep.
Yeah, and so we cut to a very, very intense scene where Isaiah Bradley is very upset with the Winter Soldier. We can only assume that they have fought in the past
They
They
did.
Because-
just said in 51.
in 51,
Yep.
yeah, and probably
Isaiah beat the shit
more
out of
than
him.
probably more than just once even. It's because
He broke his arm, pretty
Bucky
much.
was a sleeper agent. He could have been woken up and put to sleep multiple times. It sounded like he really messed up Bucky's at that point it wasn't vibranium but metal arm,
No.
and
Yep.
had to get it fixed probably multiple times because he in Captain America the Winter Soldier's arm was totally just fine, but it sounds like they've tussled a couple times, and that he
did.
was pitted against the Winter Soldier when Cap went under ice and never got any sort of recognition. And it's gonna really, I think it's gonna play a bigger factor as we see them gloss over Sam and pick John Walker as Captain America.
There's a little bit of racist undertones,
It's
or
very-
racial,
Yeah.
not
race-
racist, but racial undertones.
Well, there's even the racist
and
undertones in the cop's voice
Well,
when
even that, yeah.
they get confronted. We see a cop, Bucky and Sam are having a disagreement in the
but
street
before we
after.
did. After Clive, we also know the young boy that was taking care of Isaiah was
Mhm.
Eli,
Yep.
Yeah.
Eli.
which is AKA the Patriot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. That's a good
It was
mention.
on my
Good
list.
catch. Good catch.
Yep, yep.
And so, they leave because Isaiah doesn't want to see him. They have a little disagreement, in the street, and then the cops come, and they profile Sam, which is something that happens very often in the United States, and sadly, but they're gonna really touch on that. The show writers have said multiple times that they couldn't write a Black Captain America story without talking about race, and about that. It's probably part of why Sam doesn't feel ready to take on that role even. So we have that interaction happen, and Bucky actually gets arrested because he missed his therapy appointment. We see there we get probably the funniest
then they also
scene.
gave him like really good treatment too, because they were like, sorry.
Yeah,
bro.
they did.
Like, they didn't put the arms behind him. They buckled in front.
They asked
Not
him
that they really could.
No, they asked him very nicely. Yeah, with the vibranium arm, he's gonna mess him up if they tried. But
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we get some really really impactful scenes there, and then we get this therapy scene that's teased in the trailers where they're facing and getting all close, and it's very funny. But then you actually get the emotional part of the scene that you don't get in the trailers, where they both admit to why they're upset with each other, and it's very wow. And you see Bucky stay behind with the therapist after after Sam left the room, and she kind of notices there's something wrong with him, and obviously with what Bucky said to Sam, he feels that he's not redeemable, and that's that was probably one of the most emotional scenes I've seen in television, aside from maybe like at least in like the recent years, aside from like the WandaVision scene where Vision says, "What is grief if not love persevering?" Like that.
Yeah.
That scene where he yells at Sam and says, "If he was wrong about you, then he's probably wrong about me." That one just that scene blew me away. And
well, Sam had a totally different like shift in his demeanor after that. He's like, you're not gonna understand, but like, can you just like accept that I thought I was doing what was right?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, to his point was pretty fair. Like, hey, I can't be the next Captain America. Yeah, I'm just gonna, donate the shield to the museum.
Yeah,
no big deal.
He thought he was doing the right thing by honoring Steve and honoring the legacy of Captain America by saying, "Look, no one else can do it. I can't be this person." And ultimately, like we predicted or tried to predict in the first episode of the podcast, is he going to come to terms with that and accept the role? Obviously, they've already talked once about stealing the shield. They talked about which at the end
right
of the
after
episode,
that scene, really. After they talked to Walker.
Yeah.
Like,
so
Bucky was just like, "We're stealing the shield."
Yeah, pretty much.
Or let's just take it. Let's just take the shield.
Let's just take it
by force.
Let's just take it. Yeah.
Well, theoretically, because they could both easily, they could both just easily kick their asses right now.
Yeah. I don't even know if they could though.
I don't think they could.
I get the sense that Bucky and Battlestar both already got the serum.
I don't think so.
I think they were slow rolling that fight.
So yeah, I think we should start transitioning. That's like not a full recap. Obviously, if you've seen the episode, you know what happens towards the end. John Walker making that snide comment towards Bucky and Sam, "Stay out of my way," and makes you shift back to, "Oh, I hate this guy," after you thought he was sort of redeemable with the "I don't want to be Cap" line,
Also, don't forget to mention about their plan with who they're gonna visit.
Yeah, this is So then at the end, very very end of the episode, they tease that they're gonna go visit Zemo. So I think we should transition into like today's topics and questions. We're gonna go to our draft review, which is from last week. We did our PowerBank Draft, the first ever annual PowerBank Draft, where we picked 3 characters each from lists of characters that we thought could be in the show or in the MCU that could have gotten their powers from the Power Broker, who has now been name dropped in this episode. And so
I do have a nice
just to go over who we've picked, I'll go first. I took with my first pick. Actually, let's go in order of draft picks. So William, you took the first pick in the draft, so I'll let you read your 3 picks first.
Yeah, well, I think we all had was Isaiah, as
Oh no.
Draft, right?
I just mean like your picks from the draft.
Oh
last
shit!
Week.
Oh my bad.
No, you're good.
I kind of forgot.
I got your I got your list here. So you took
Yeah.
John Walker, U.S. agent first,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was the clear cut first pick, and it's
Yeah.
pretty much confirmed that he has already kind of probably taken whatever the power broker's given out, based on just how strong he is. And
Yeah,
then you
but
took
what I know is right now is that it doesn't look like he has serum in him yet. He's
oh I
still
think he
No,
human.
does.
I think he does.
I think he does. They said that he had
During
like
that
near
during that interview,
superhuman. They showed like the clips of him like throwing the shield around in that opening interview on Good Morning
Good Morning
America,
America.
and
Okay.
he was like they said that he had like peak human strength, peak human
Well, off the
speed.
charts.
Yeah, like off the charts, and it.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think they said
So,
off
like,
the charts, but whatever they
no, it
said.
was.
Oh,
I
really?
think it was either
Yeah.
off the charts or like no, I think it was off the charts.
Okay,
But
yeah, whatever they.
she's like
inferred.
your physical reactions are off the charts. You're like all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like you're also highly intelligent. And then he stopped her there when she was going over like all of his
Yeah.
what's it called?
Yeah. He
And
cut
And
her
he's
off.
like, look, he
Yeah.
cut her off and then stopped talking about his physical attributes and went to
Yeah.
his mental attributes.
Yeah, no,
Where he's like,
Yeah.
I'm not Tony Stark. I'm not Bruce Banner.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
So-
like to me, like in the fight scene when they first fought the Flag Smashers, the rebels, well, the Freedom Fighters. and
Oh, she
whatnot.
got her.
Yeah.
She kicked their butts. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they were like legit the super soldiers, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
They legit, like,
yeah.
took him
I
out
think
like
we
nothing.
can get to that here in a little bit because we have some other questions. I want to talk about on our second segment a little bit more about what the serum kind of looks like, because there's a couple little hints that they threw around when they were talking to Isaiah Bradley, and that makes sense. So, but you picked U.S. Agent, you picked Bucky,
Yeah.
and who's
Yep.
obviously a super soldier, and then you picked General Ross. So
Yes,
those are your
which
three
adds
picks.
the whole. Yep, those are my three.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I want to see Ross. I want to see Ross.
I have a good theory on this. I have a good theory on Ross.
All right, bet.
Um,
And then Dylan,
Ross is
you
my go-to
took
on this one.
Carly.
Yep.
So I took Carly, which we saw it has the serum already.
Yep, super
Yes.
strength.
I took Torres,
Yep.
who
Ooh.
should be the new Falcon,
Yep.
theoretically.
Yep.
And Luke Cage. So we're still waiting to see on who the Doctor is
Who
to
the
see if
Doctor
that
is.
one like
Yep, if
Yeah.
it's Carl or
joins
not.
the continuities of the Netflix
Between-
and
Yep, the Defenders on Netflix and the whole
Yeah.
MCU as a whole. And then I took, as the third pick of the draft, my first was Zemo, and then I took Battlestar, and then it's kind of a throwaway and a meme. I took Ralph Boner from WandaVision. And I thought it was
Yep.
funny, but now that I didn't even know if we were going to really get Battlestar in the series, and straight out the gate we did. And so
Yep.
there's probably a good chance that Hoskins already has the super serum, if is about to, if there's a good chance that he doesn't actually. He seems more like of a sidekick, and like he's not
Yeah.
involved in Walker's plan, which is something we're gonna get to here. But
well,
anyways,
they were both trained at the same place, which is
Yeah.
from what it
exactly.
seems could have just given them both like the serum.
I think
Yeah,
there's like
temporarily, sir.
one thing in particular that that makes me question it. It was like one interaction when they were like sitting in the little
In the-
van together with Bucky and Sam.
Oh, the
And,
cart, the Jeep cart, right?
Yeah. So when they were talking to Bucky and Sam right before they stopped the car, Hoskins like tries to tell them who he is, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm Lamar Hoskins," and Sam goes, "I'm gonna need way more than just Hoskins from you to know
Yeah.
like who you are." And then he like, I don't even know if he gets to respond, a chance to respond. And he
Yeah, he
or
said-
no,
he says he's Battlestar.
he goes, "Yeah, I'm Battlestar."
Sorry.
And then they're like, "All right, stop the car," which is probably the funniest line.
But he's like stop the car. I don't know. And of course, Bucky gives John Walker the old classic stare saying, "You, how dare
Yep.
you stand where he stood?"
Yep.
Yeah, enter Harry Potter meme.
How dare you stand? True. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so those are our draft picks. That's who we think is gonna end up with powers by the end of the series. Obviously, we had a couple other people who we've seen with the Flag Smashers have powers, but we don't know. But to just transition it straight into the second point here is obviously the Flag Smashers have stolen from somebody. They've stolen a bunch of medicine, they've stolen money, and we don't know who or why they were stealing it from. Initially, it seems like it was for the power broker.
It was from the power broker.
And I want to, we came up with the theory last week that there could be two different power brokers, one working with the government and one helping with the more rebellious side and helping the smaller guys, you know? So we still don't know that. I think that there's a very good chance that there is two power brokers.
It seems pretty good.
It seems like a very
It seems legit,
logical
but
way to do it.
I personally, it's only just one.
The reason why I think it's so... There's two ways you can kind of go about it. There's obviously somebody in the government is supplying this for John Walker, and if you want to say Battlestar's in on it, they're supplying a super soldier serum that's not perfected, and it could be sort of like a drug you have to take almost to get those powers.
It's like a temporary.
Yeah, like a temporary boost in everything. It's like almost like an adrenaline shot, you know, like.
Well, that would kind of make sense with the way that Eli Bradley gets his powers from the comics too.
Yeah, exactly. So
the page,
I think there could be that, and then obviously, you know, maybe the reason why they're stealing all these medicines is because they have some of the ingredients needed to make that shot. And that's why the Flag Smashers are like stealing it, but it also wouldn't make sense why they're.
I think they're just trying to help the people. Like they just the way that they're portraying the Flag Smashers is just like they're going out trying to help all the people who aren't getting the government assistance that need government assistance.
Exactly.
So they have good intent. They don't have good intentions. They're doing the right thing, but for the wrong reasons is what I.
Well, I mean, just in the show they called it like the guy was like, "You guys are being called Robin Hood."
Yeah.
Like good intentions, but going about it the wrong way.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. They want to, you know, they obviously had that little chant where it's like the one world, one people or something like that. Yeah. So they have
it's like freedomish.
Yeah, they want like, but they're more focused on. It seemed like when they were talking, Carly and whoever her like right hand man was, they were talking specifically about, you know, doing it for the people who are being disregarded now that there's all these new people that they have to get sorted out. So you almost see
post-split pretty much.
This,
I mean, it makes sense that they would concentrate on those people, but I mean, it's just kind of like there's so much logistics that have to go on with people that were pronounced dead to come back to life, to re-get their social securities. Like,
it's this like strange juxtaposition where like they're almost opposite of Sam, who's like come back from the blip and is like, no one's even trying to help me. Like he can't get his bank loan. And I think that's going to be really interesting in the end. And because there's almost all these like, to describe it like Sam and Bucky did when they told U.S. agent and Battlestar, hey, we can't work with you, is like there's all these like free agents almost. Like there's no team, there's no Avengers. Like everybody has their like own interests at the forefront, and like they have their own perspective, and they're just kind of like dialed into it. So like you see like the Flag Smashers, they're like, oh yeah, like we want to help the people who were here before the blip that didn't get blipped, because they've been here, like they've had to go through hard stuff, they've had to go through the loss, and now there's all these other people who've been gone for 5 years, they don't understand. And then you have the opposite end where it's like Falcon is like, I can't get a bank loan because like they don't care about me, they don't remember me, like they don't have anything about me out here. And then you have, you know, the government that's just trying to figure it all out, but then these individuals, John Walker and Battlestar, it's there's a lot of like single player people, and that's why I feel like maybe Battlestar is not keyed in. There's something else I'm trying to remember that made it seem like he wasn't, you know, didn't have the super soldier serum for some reason. I don't know if it was like something that was said on the fight sequence before the car or if it was after at some point. it just didn't seem like he had the super strength. He got overwhelmed very easily. Not like
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
because like at that point, like in the fight, like obviously you see Bucky going like 1v3, and then Sam shows up to help, and then
Yep.
you see them pull up, and John Walker jumps off, and he starts engaging in the fight, and then
Yep.
you see Battlestar come in, and then he's just like overwhelmed and locked up instantly. Almost it seemed like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets like two people like giving him a chokehold right away though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like
I guess so.
even with being a super, if he already has the serum, being a super soldier and having two other super soldiers hold you down, it's going to be
Yeah.
pretty difficult.
Oh yeah.
So-
true.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
They got overpowered pretty much in general
Yeah.
because
But-
they are the serum that
Numbers.
the Flag Smashers have are a little bit more,
Which
very
would-
fully.
Yeah, which would key into like maybe two different versions of the serum, even,
Yeah.
or two, or I don't want to say like when they took the steroid or whenever, but it would make sense that they're like different power levels because of it or something like that.
Yeah.
Based on who
Potentially,
developed it.
Plus, we don't know what kind of serum the U.S. government has and what serum they put on on Walker, on U.S.
Yeah.
agents.
Well, if
so.
I was to guess, the U.S. government would have the good serum, and then the bad
The-
guys would have the bad serum.
Yeah.
Just to
Probably.
kind of keep the what is it, like chasing the dragon essentially,
Yeah.
Mm,
like you get this powers, you're gonna need to come back more and more and more to keep getting them, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
so.
For me personally, I'm not fully convinced that he has the serum in him. Like, yes, he does have some of it, but not like the full serum. The
Yeah,
full...
that's what I.
Yeah, there's a chance that it's just like a partial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I want to talk about. Is like there was a very clear thing that Bucky said to Isaiah, where, I mean, maybe it wasn't Isaiah, but he said that the serum has a bad track record. No, it was John Walker actually said that to Bucky.
Yeah.
Which is, it's sketchy. John knows about the serum specifically, and that it doesn't have a bad track record, which this actually kind of brings it to the second point that I actually wanted to bring us to. This is a segment called Ghosted. We're supposed to, I want to talk a little bit about specifically, Carly got a text on her phone that said, "You stole from me, and we're going to come and get it back." And there's, in my eyes, two people who it could be. And I think, I know who I want it to be, but it could have come from the power broker, or I think it could have come from John Walker specifically, because it came right after they got away from that fight, and they settled down in the bunker. And so it was like right after John Walker would have like recovered from the fight, gotten back to base, gotten on his phone, "You fucking stole from me." So I would like to see it be
Maybe.
John Walker. It makes more sense that it's the power broker, but it's also the reason in my head why I think it could be John Walker more specifically, and that like if they were using those medicines and those were the actual stim shots or whatever the power brokers created, is that those are government owned, and they stole them from the government. Like the government has the supplies. It makes sense that it's like they
But
stole
which
from
government,
the
though?
government.
Because don't forget they were in Europe at the time when they stole all that stuff.
You're right.
There's no way they were at America. Remember, half of the Smashers are located in Europe, as we saw in the first episode with them
Yeah,
robbing the Switzerland
right, they were
Swiss
in-
bank.
They were in Europe. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, that makes it seem. I didn't even think of that. That's a good point.
Yeah, I think it would be the power broker
Yeah.
personally.
Pretty much, yeah.
It
Just
could
because
be-
like the power broker's men come up like almost instantaneously on them,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when they start getting to the plane.
that
So
would-
like they're
yeah.
tracking them using Carly's phone.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
You're right.
So-
Yeah. Okay. Screw the John Walker idea. You guys, no. That,
no,
I didn't even think
I
of
would
that.
love it for it to be
It would
John
be-
Walker personally
yeah.
as well, because like it gives him a little bit of that villainous personality that he's
Yeah.
already.
Double agent, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's like, I
Like-
mean, like it still could be, and I can stretch it by saying, like, well, America invades other countries, America occupies other places, like it still could be the government, Like,
Yeah,
you never
we
know
love
when
them
you-
oil.
yeah.
We love them oil, boys.
and yeah. So
No, I do.
but
I
it
do
could.
think I
It
know who
could.
it is.
Very.
I know who
Stop it!
texted
It's
me.
Don't.
not Mephisto.
No,
Oh,
it's not. I saw it
you
coming.
son of
Anytime you go like this, wait a minute. We know what you're gonna do, Niall.
a... Shut down.
Shut down. No more Mephisto in the MCU ever.
You
Um.
bastard.
I
Anyways,
wouldn't say not ever, because once
no.
they bring in Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
like
Then they
officially,
have to.
but
Then you kind of have to.
Yeah, but I think like a little off topic here, but I think Mephisto's gonna be more focused on per se
Doctor Strange,
if he ever
Multiverse
appears
of
either
the
on with Wanda or with Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and
know?
that actually brings us perfectly to point number 3. Is Sam in his conversation with Bucky? We already talked about it earlier. Brings up the big 3, which is androids, aliens, and wizards. And ironically enough, that's pretty much the premise of MCU Phase 4. We get androids in Armor Wars. We're probably bound to see that. We could see the return of Ultron in that. Obviously, we have a new Vision. We still don't know what happened at the end of Age of Ultron. It's left unknown. And now that the original Vision is gone, which is something that I didn't even think about till, WandaVision actually came out, is we don't even know what happened to him. Vision's the only one who actually knew, and he's gone. And,
well, it sounds like we're gonna get a solo Vision TV show.
We
if
actually,
not a movie.
yeah, we just got like a report just yesterday or this morning even. I remember reading from comicbook.com that they said that Vision's White Vision, the one that we see at the end of WandaVision just fly off out of nowhere, is going to get his own series. So that's going to happen on its own, but he'll probably be in Armor Wars, I would assume. We don't know exactly where he's going.
I don't think so. I can't see him in Armor Wars, to be honest.
I can. I really can.
Maybe they will mention Ultron, or maybe they'll mention him as like a little, And there's also Sword's White Vision or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that he shows up in Armor Wars, but I feel like Armor Wars is going to be a lot of people's trying to get at Tony Stark's armors.
Yeah.
Which then that's going to bring in Riri Williams and the other Tony's little kid that helped him in the third movie, which we saw at the end of Age of Ultron, or not Age of Ultron.
What's his name? Harley. Harley's gonna show up in Armor Wars, I'm sure. That would be genius.
It should be those two people because Riri is the legitimate Ironheart.
Yep.
Like she's the legitimate successor of Iron Man.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I could see that being a setup, and then she gets her own series shortly after that, I'm sure, because it's scheduled, but it's not. They haven't given it a date quite yet.
No, not yet.
But either way, we kind of like. So he sets up the android stuff, like with Vision and everything that could go on with that.
So yeah, androids with Vision,
aliens, the Skrulls, and then wizards, being ironically Wanda is a witch, and Strange and sorcerers in general.
Yeah.
There's going to be potentially a sorcerer war between him and Baron Mordo.
I was actually thinking could just be a bunch of different things, but there's quite a few magic users.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to introduce Doom as well.
Yeah, it would be. That'd be
true.
I mean, with Fantastic Four even being
and
in
actually,
there.
Doom fills in two of those categories.
Yeah, exactly.
Himself.
Aliens.
Android
sorry.
and wizards.
Wizard. Yeah, because his armor's fully.
Well, he's got the Doom bots.
Yeah.
Yep, that too.
It's just like it's so funny that they're like being meta about it, and
but although the one thing I'm going to disagree with you is that I don't think they don't mention when they say aliens. I think they mean probably Thanos. It's when the whole army invaded the whole Earth and whatnot.
Well,
because Thanos was the alien.
Yeah, Thanos is an alien.
Obviously, yeah.
If you think about
no one doesn't know about the Skrulls yet, except for either certain people, pretty much.
If you think about like the big 3 threats that the Avengers have had to fight so far. It's
Chitauri
really only
Loki.
2 of them, like Chitauri and Loki in Avengers 1, and that's aliens. And then Ultron is an android, and then in Endgame and Infinity War they fight Thanos, an alien. But they don't have any real problems with wizards.
Well, Loki could be considered a wizard.
Yeah, you're right.
Not really.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say more like a wizard, more like just a trickster, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he could be considered a wizard.
You
He's
could-
got magical powers.
And he doesn't wear a
and his-
hat. Or he does wear a hat. He has his crown.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Stepmom is the
Yeah.
witch whatever lady of
Yep. Asgard.
Asgard.
So
Yeah.
she could have taught him, sorcery powers.
Who knows?
Which
True.
we see that he does use it by him
Yeah.
literally turning invisible and creating clones of him. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of working with his trickery, but it is wizardry.
Yeah, it is wizardry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I guess. Yeah,
I guess,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He has magic
essentially the
powers,
three
pretty much.
threats if
I agree
you
with
want to
you
think
on that.
about it. If you want to do Avengers 1 was wizards as being Loki, Avengers 2 is androids, and then aliens. Like that hits all
Mhm.
three, So
Yeah,
it's
that's the big
funny
three.
that that he just goes that way. That's the big three.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the past and the present and the future problems, or at least the biggest ones that they have on their hands. Because when it comes to some of the other
Also,
superpowered beings that don't put up much of a fight,
yeah. Also to mention that with the whole little mini Easter egg of the Hobbit, where Bucky drops a little knowledge on Sin, saying, I remember the Hobbit in 1937.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I'm like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a pretty
Bucky the nerd in the early days before
Bucky's
he became
old.
a killing machine.
Yep, he's an old
Well,
man. He's a very old man.
You don't have to be a nerd to read The Hobbit.
Oh, good point. Yeah, you could just read The Hobbit because you're interested in fantasy in general.
Well,
It
not
doesn't
even
make you
that.
a
Like
nerd.
Tolkien was Tolkien was considered a pretty decent writer even before he
Oh,
went
yeah.
to what was it? So he was in World War One, which was
Yep. 1918 or something like that.
Yeah. So when he left World War One is when he started writing, and he was considered a really good writer.
He was.
So he was already world renowned essentially at that point, if I am, being correct in that statement.
I believe so.
That's a good-
Like
All
so
right.
him being, just I think it was would have been a New York Times bestseller even then.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you've got a point. Okay. Well, so
Move forward.
we got past, present, future covered by Sam being meta, and then obviously we end the episode, and this is how we're gonna end our episode with Sam and Bucky deciding to go see Zemo.
Yep.
And we see from the trailers clearly Zemo gets out. We took our little bets on flip a coin last week, where we guessed whether or not we were gonna see them work with U.S. agent in the government, or if we were going to see him go rogue and work with Zemo. And I think we're probably getting that. We might see him work with the government later on in the series. I don't know.
yeah, it seems
they're
like you were
kinda-
right with that one.
They kind of set up U.S. agent as a bad guy, I feel like.
Yeah, pretty much they do.
I'm pretty
It's all
set on
going
that.
towards-
I'm pretty set on that. And I think he could be redeemable. It could be like a situation where they're fighting like the power broker and all his men, and the power broker says something about
something boxcar,
maybe
freight car.
yeah, no, I could see if there is only one power broker and he works for the Power Broker Incorporated, it supplies the U.S. government with the serum, or even under the table to John Walker and Battlestar, independently outside of the government's knowledge, and then his real goal is the same goal as the Flag Smashers, and then they took it too far, and he's upset with them. But maybe those two are Lamar Hoskins and John Walker fighting for the power broker in the last fight, and then the power broker says something like, "Oh man, I can't wait to take down America," and U.S. agent goes "Oh man, I'm Captain America, fuck you," and then has to hit him with the shield or something like that.
Yeah.
I could see a little bit of redemption somehow in that way, but
Maybe.
I do see U.S. agent and Battlestar and the government as a whole being the villain of this series. With the title of the first episode being New World Order, it just makes sense that the government's part of the Illuminati here, and they're not out to help the
Well,
Oh, they
people.
already been there.
Did you notice that the end credits have the Illuminati in it?
Yeah, they do exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
it's
Yeah.
it just makes sense, that they're not good. But anyways, so the thing I want to talk about is how in the trailers we see Zemo out of jail. Do Sam and Bucky break him out here in this episode?
I really don't think they break him out. I think they just go and talk with him, and then they're like, "Hey, we're taking Zemo with us. Like, we're part of the Avengers. He's part of this mission." Like,
you really think that they're gonna let him?
Yeah, they have to. They have to.
There's no way they let him walk out like that. There's no way.
I think they do. Do
you remember what he did in Civil War?
That was a couple of years ago.
He killed T'Challa's father.
Like
he's not innocent at all.
They could just have some form of like control over him that they kind of implant, like maybe he's got some kind of necklace that like explodes his head, like if he goes
Suicide
rogue.
Squad mode. Yeah.
Like something. There's probably going to be something that they're like, hey, we're watching like maybe that's why Sharon Carter's there.
Okay.
Sharon Carter is the one that has to watch over Zemo.
Well,
I think it's possible.
Here's what I think is gonna happen.
Okay.
I think this is a stretch. This is probably not gonna happen. I like the Ross idea. I'm gonna roll with it.
Oh,
I think Ross allows them to take Zemo out, and it is like a precaution. The Thunderbolts is already an idea in his head, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll let you work with him," and he like gets time off for good behavior, like the Suicide Squad, and so they let him go. Sharon Carter doesn't show up until the cargo freight scene. You see her like unmask as they're fighting the Flag Smashers. So I don't know if she that could be why she comes and shows up, is because they're like specifically sending her to spy on them and make sure things go according to plan.
I think so.
I don't think they can break him out. I don't think they walk him out either, though. I think Ross has to be involved.
There's gotta be something, but he's in Germany, so the U.S. government doesn't have any form of control over the German government.
I know, but
unless
still,
it's ran by the UA.
The world is
kind of
I think that's the thing, is I think Ross probably has a promotion by now. He was Secretary of State in Avengers: Age of Ultron. Like he's worked his way up from just General Ross in Hulk. Yeah. It's been 5 years since we had that time jump since Infinity War, so he's probably decided him having a giant ego, he's probably like, I need to do more for the world, and probably stepped up to a position in the UN or whatever, and he has that sort of power to do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance for that. I don't know.
I just don't know how.
I do think Ross is doing something.
Oh yeah.
Because all these powers, they have the super soldiers are going through Ross.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like John Walker is, I don't know, man. Like it's like how I think is one thing. It's almost impossible to predict is like who the power broker is really working for and what his agenda is, and we won't know that till.
I think he is working for himself.
I think his own agenda is just trying to make money.
Be part of the U.S. government and all these other governments. He could just work with the UN.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or he could work with anyone. Who knows? Yeah.
Like the Power Broker Incorporated could be pretending to make like vaccines and stuff as their main objective. That's their front to the government.
Not power. They have a sister company or something, probably.
Yeah, a sister, or even their same company, and they're just doing it behind everybody's
Well, they're
backs.
Pfizer, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go, a real world example for you. It's just it's gonna be interesting to see how that works, because the dynamic's gonna be weird, like how he works with the government, how he works with the Flag Smashers, how he's actually affiliated with them is gonna be very important, obviously, to the story going on.
Well, and that's kind of why I feel like there's two power brokers. It would make more sense to have the sister company work for one of the side, and then the actual company worked for the other side.
Yep. Or yeah. It just seems like there's too many people with enhancements in too many different places, and I think that's kind of why, because Bucky and Sam go to visit Isaiah. Like that's why they're just unsure of how this is even happening. Why are there super soldiers? Like this shouldn't have been a thing. Like we were the last ones.
Well, and how messed up is it that they dropped Isaiah behind the lines as a suicide mission, essentially.
It's fucked.
Like
man.
any time that they would drop him in was for a suicide mission, more or less.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Because why would they bring in that time they thought black people were lesser.
Yeah, they did.
It was kind of like the Red Tails.
Yeah.
Like the bombing squad.
The bombing squad from World War II.
From World War II, yeah. Like they were literally sent out on missions that they weren't supposed to come back from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so it would just make sense for Isaiah Bradley to be part of that. And that's just totally messed up.
Yeah, I know.
It is. And not to mention, after when Rogers got frozen, and I think after World War II or whatever, they kept Isaiah inside of a cage, per se, and just kept on.
Yeah,
and they kept on testing them. They're like saying, here's more shots or whatever. We're gonna do tests on you no matter what.
They didn't even show any of that. They just had him explain it. And
yep.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have gotten out of jail until mid 1980s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in. Didn't he say in how long
he was in jail?
How long he had been out?
Yeah.
So
40. War ends.
So
World War II
1940. Well, so 1951 was when he met Bucky.
Yep.
So if he came back, we say probably 3-4 years passed probably between that time.
Yeah.
So that would put it at 1944 or 1954, 1955.
The end of the war is 45 in traditional
and then
time. Yeah.
30 years after that is 1985.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he gets out of jail and has to start his life all over again after that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's a good chance that the super serum that we're seeing is derived off of his blood.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
it could be. You're right. Yeah.
And it kind of there's a good chance if John Walker already has it, we saw Isaiah's little breakdown where he got really mad.
Yeah.
Generally, that's a side effect of a super serum, where they just get really upset.
Yeah,
and I've already seen it a couple times with John Walker getting really angry, or maybe not angry, but irritated. And it seems like he's getting irritated quickly.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he kind of feels like he's got the serum already to me. So.
And then imagine Ross getting really angry really fast, and then all of a sudden,
Red Hulk.
Yeah, no, it would make sense that it's rage. It induces rage a little bit because, I mean, and it's probably a formula they've had to refine. Obviously, the Luke Cage thing. We have to see again. We didn't see when they did the plane scene, the takeoff scene. There was a guy who ran out in the street like this or whatever. I almost thought that was going to be the power broker, and then he gets on a phone and makes a call, and he goes, "They got away," and I was no, it's not him. Okay.
Yeah. That's probably just his
he's
just
right-hand
man from the
he's
power
just
broker.
he's just a side man. But I was oh my god, they're about to actually show him, but no, I felt like it was too early. I think that we probably don't see the power broker till episode 4.
Maybe
because they're probably gonna spend a majority this episode with Zemo learning and then tracking down the Flag Smashers again and getting into a tussle with them, meeting up with Sharon Carter, and then maybe Sharon Carter's the reason. I didn't even think about that. Maybe Sharon Carter has the clearance to get him out, to get Zemo out. Because in that scene with the Tokyo scene, whatever city that is, I still didn't look it up, maybe that's the three of them going to confront John Walker and Battlestar and the Power Broker when they find his location. Maybe they're tracking Walker or something like that. They reverse it,
I don't think they're going after Walker. Yeah, I think they're just gonna.
Well, I think they
'cause
would
Bucky
use
is-
Walker to track the power broker. I think they figure out a connection because Sharon Carter's always like finding stuff. You know, she's a
Yeah.
former Shield
Yeah,
agent.
she's-
She can find out information. She's working cases undercover all the time.
Yeah,
Who knows?
Hmm.
yeah. Who knows? Who knows what she's been up to lately? But yeah, I don't think they're gonna go after Walker right away. But I think they're just gonna explore more of the Hydra thing, like what the hell happened to Hydra and whatnot.
Yeah, no,
Pretty
I think
much.
they do. Yeah. Hydra Flag Smashers is probably all episode 3 stuff, and then I think
Yeah.
maybe Power Broker episode 4, if they really want to push it back, episode 5. But yeah, those are some pretty solid predictions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Do you
Do
guys
we have anything else to
anything-
say?
Any closing statements we want to make?
I personally believe that the Power Broker is not the Power Broker as we know in the comic books. I think it's just more like a title, pretty much. At least the way I believe
Okay,
it.
I think it. I
I
can
think
see
it's
it,
just
but
it's
I
just
think
it's just one Power Broker. It's like pretty much just someone, I have all this information. I'll draw out the details and this and that or whatever.
Okay, that's fair.
And he's like,
Like, that's a good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
because it could be anyone from the shots, pretty much saying, "Hey, I have all this information for the right price. I'll
Yeah.
give you this information or whatever."
Or they could like leave him unnamed and not show
Yeah.
who it is still, like especially if they like haven't like closed the deal with Luke Coulter to like reprise is that his name? Mike Coulter. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Mike Coulter plays Luke Cage, and if they haven't like tied that down and it's a loose end they want to like secure, they could easily just not show who the power broker is, not show Carl Malice, and just have them like go infiltrate the company to try and figure out its secrets or whatever. You
Yeah.
know? Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyways, those are our predictions for this upcoming couple of weeks. We'll be back again next week with our recap of episode 3 and predictions for episode 4 and beyond, obviously. And we'll probably have some other WandaVision videos up this week, finally. So,
Maybe.
I keep
Probably.
saying that every week. I'll keep saying it like 6 weeks into the Loki series. I'll be like, yeah, and so we're going to have our first WandaVision video. And why Mephisto was in it. And just kidding.
We also have to come up with theory videos for all these other movies coming out too.
Yeah,
so,
we have just finished. We've all now seen Justice League, the Zack Snyder cut. We have the trailer of Suicide Squad, the new version of it with James Gunn directing it that just came out.
Yeah.
We have other movies, King Kong versus Godzilla that's coming out. We have Mortal Kombat movie coming out. We have there's tons of other stuff we have to cover, and so we're definitely gonna be branching out here soon to more stuff.
But for now, let's just keep on branching on the Marvel hype right now.
Yep, absolutely. But that is the wrap for the Irresponsible Comic Book Podcast, episode 3. Thank you for listening, and we will see you guys next week, or you'll hear us if you're just listening.
Yeah. All right.
Peace, guys.
See you guys.
See you guys.